Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I just thought I'd jump on here real quick because a few weeks back I acquired a new lens and it's my first ever L series lens. I decided to get something which was more on the telephoto end rather than the wide angle, and this has not disappointed. I've been lucky enough to test out this lens in a real world scenario when I went to London a few weeks ago, and I originally went there just to photograph some of the London Marathon runners. However, when I was actually there, I was able to not only photograph the runners, so not only sport photography, but I was also able to photograph some wildlife and obviously do some portraiture. So I was able to do 3 different types of photography just in a few hours in the capital. I will attach some images of what I came out with, but I was pleasantly surprised, especially because my camera only shoots 5 frames per second. So when I was shooting the runners, I was a bit worried about the autofocus and how it was going to cope, but it actually performed really well. I put it in sport mode and the runners were a good distance away from me. They weren't too close. I was still able to get some out of focus areas, and yeah, it surprised me how well it did, because this lens was actually released all the way back in 1996. So obviously it speaks volumes for this lens. Canon have never replaced this lens, so it has been the go-to for Canon in terms of 135mm focal length. It is obviously very sharp, wide open, and I only shot wide open the whole day I was in London. Now with this lens, obviously being an EF lens, I've had to get one of the adapters, but it works seamlessly with it. So this, as I say, is paired with my Canon RP, and I had no problem in sport mode. I had no problem whatsoever with the adapter. I got this second hand and it's in like new condition. It's been looked after incredibly well, which is fantastic. I mean, just look at that front element. I will attach some photos for you to see how I got on in London and recently when I went to a woodland, it being autumn now here in the UK, and the colours are getting really good. Where we had a hot summer, a lot of yellows and golden yellow colours. So yeah, I've already managed to test this lens out with wildlife, with sport, and with portraiture. Yeah, loving the lens so far. It is a really good price used that you can pick these up for, and considering its age, how it's held up is just incredible. There's something quite reassuring with this lens when I've gone out in the last few times. It's just something that fills you with a bit of confidence, because from what I've seen, there is no purple fringing or chromatic aberration. So the thing is, when you are shooting with a lens like this, it just fills you with confidence. You know, if you're shooting portraits, if you're shooting some close-up wildlife, if your subject isn't too far away. Obviously sport is the main test for me that day, because I was worried about the autofocus and I was worried about how it was going to handle, but it actually held up pretty well. So I'm pleased to report that this 135mm can do more than just portraits, and it is certainly a fantastic lens for use with outdoor photography. I had a go at some landscape photography the other day. Obviously that's not something you would maybe think about with 135mm, but it does beg the question with this focal length of 135mm. It begs the question, can it deliver on multiple styles of photography? And so far I would say it has, and it can. Okay, stay tuned for more videos. Thank you guys.